My Christmas miracle, I guess you could say, my Christmas wish for the Eastern Conference. It's not Sixers related, like I said. It's about two young players who I feel like the NBA landscape is starting to turn their back on, or starting to think or rethink how good these players are. Starting to wonder if they can play well together. And that is, I really hope that the Boston Celtics figure out how to make Jaylen Brown and Chase Tatum work together. Because I truly, truly think they could. I think they could be a dynamic 1A and 1B duo on a really, really good Boston team. And if you ask me what is my example, what is my case statement for making this statement, like how do I think they can work together? What is the evidence? Look at the Chicago Bulls. It's DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine show. It's 1A and 1B. I would say right now, probably DeMar is the better of the two right now, but that could be to some of Zach LaVine being a little younger. Uh, Rapson, Rapson. What's good, man? How you doing? Thanks for pulling up to the show. Leave a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. You know what I mean? Um, it's the DeMar and Zach LaVine show in Chicago, and I think they've proven that when you give them a point guard who can distribute the ball very, very well, when you give them a dynamic six-man type player who can play good defense but also score a little bit, Alex Caruso, and you give them who should be on paper a pretty solid stretch big who can be good offensively and shoot a little bit on paper. That's what they brought him here to do. Vucevic is struggling a little bit this season. But I think the Bulls in one season managed to put together what Boston is trying to put together for the last, we'll say, 3 seasons. And I don't think that it means Raps in 7, sir. Oh, Raps in 7. Dang. Hey, man, that's why the show's live. Because you gonna have moments like that when I'm trying to talk, say what's up to somebody, pull it in the chat, and completely misread their name. Raps in 7, what's good with you? How you doing? And I think the Boston Celtics have tried to do something like that, right? The Boston Celtics tried it with, I think that's what Kemba was supposed to be. Kemba was supposed to be their dynamic point guard. Al Horford was supposed to be that stretch big. Like Marcus Smart is supposed to be that 2 guard that can play good defense and shoot a little bit. Like the pieces are there. I just don't think they're meshing. And I think in Boston's case, it starts at the point guard position. I think that over the last, I guess I'll say 3 years of them trying to make this team work, I don't think they've had the right point guard for the situation. I think if we go back in Boston's history, recent history, starting with signing Kyrie. Kyrie was there for this to be Kyrie's team, which made perfect sense to me. It was supposed to be Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. They were supposed to replicate, basically, to an extent, a lesser version of LeBron James and Kyrie. Like, that was the blueprint. Boston just happened to have these 2 young studs that went crazy the year that both of those guys were injured. Now they realize they got these 2 young studs that are potential all-star caliber players, and it doesn't work with Kyrie and Hayward. They move on from Hayward. They move on from Kyrie. They try to bring in Kemba Walker to kind of sort of replace what Kyrie was for this team. But they didn't put into a thought process that what Kyrie brought was a lot of scoring, not so much ball handling. I mean, distribution and playmaking. Kyrie can play make. Please don't get that twisted. That's just not what he was bringing to that Boston Celtics team at the time. Kemba Walker didn't necessarily work because Kemba is nowhere near the scorer that Kyrie is. But he's also not the playmaker that Kyrie is, and Kyrie's not even that great of a playmaker. So you just had a lesser version of Kyrie on both fronts, and I think that's why it didn't necessarily work with Kemba, and they moved on from him. Moved and decided to go in a different direction, pick up Dennis Schroeder. Now the Boston Celtics are a little bit better on paper. They should be. I actually personally liked the Dennis Schroeder fit. I thought he could be a good fit. I thought he could be a point guard who would play his role, even though he's a point guard that was about to get paid $84 million. And $84 million is a quality starting point guard in the league. Like, that's quality starting guard type money. But I still think he could have been a point guard that would have played his role on this Boston team, fit in. Jason is too inconsistent and is a volume shooter. He needs to be a better playmaker as well. We're going to speak on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in a second because I think both of those players get a lot of heat, and I don't think people realize how young they are. But we're going to talk about that in 2 seconds. And I thought Dennis Schroeder could fit in a whole lot better than he has been. And they've been hit with a lot of COVID stuff. Jaylen Brown's only played like half of their available games. Everybody's been hit with a lot of COVID stuff, but they're just really struggling right now. And I'm not really sure what to expect from them and what they could do moving forward. But we're going to take our first caller right now. Thank you for calling on the Hawks Hoops. This is your boy Hawk. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
What up, Hawk? This is Jay.
What up, Jace? How you doing?
Good, good. I want to touch on that topic that you was talking about with Boston.
Okay.
Problem, you brought up a point with Zach LaVine in Chicago. I think you left something out on there. They know how to separate what's going on. It seems like the league is trying to push more of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I think that they're the same player. I think they'll be better if you switch them out to other teams. I don't know if they're going to win together because Jaylen Brown is just as good as Jason Tatum. And that
True.
1A, 1B perspective is not there for them. Now, in Chicago's situation, DeMar DeRozan is seasoned. He's come a long way. And he's worked on that mid-range killer. In the fourth quarter, you know who's getting the ball. You know what I'm saying?
It's his ball in the fourth quarter. DeMar DeRozan is killing in the clutch.
Right. So Zach LaVine has taken that process of the step to be like, all right, big bro, you got this. You are the alpha on this situation. And that Boston stuff, Tatum ain't doing that. You really don't know who. Like, Tatum trying to get his shot, even though Brown might be the better option, and they just have not dignified, like, yo, who's going to be that 1A and who's going to be that 1B. So I think it's time to probably just, I'm not a fan of the Sixers by any means, and I know it would never happen. But getting rid of a Jaylen Brown, because it don't look like they're going to get rid of Tatum. Getting rid of a Jaylen Brown for, what's the guy that? Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And I think that you see Jaylen Brown and B probably work a little bit better. And the reason why Kemba didn't work there, he was a bum, man. Come on, man, stop it. Kemba ain't even work in New York. Kemba worked in Charlotte in a small market. He's not Terry Rozier. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Kemba didn't work because
really,
Kemba's an inefficient scorer. Kemba reminds me of like a 2000s guard when we were happy when guards were 40% from the field and like 35% from three. He reminds me of that type of guard.
He's a little better.
I don't think that guard fits.
Man.
What do you say?
It doesn't fit in the league anymore. I see like a little better Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, like a better Muggsy Bogues. I'd agree. And I don't think that guard fits in the league today. And you make some really good points about Tatum and Brown. Only pushback I'll give on this is yes, when you compare them to DeRozan, DeMar, and LaVine, yes, LaVine gives the ball to DeMar because DeMar has proved himself. Because one, he's older, like you said, he's a seasoned vet. He's had all them years in Toronto where he was the guy, and now he knows how to be a closer. And Jason Brown and Jason Tatum's case, those guys are so young still. Like, it blew my mind when I looked at how young they are. They're so young.
My cousin put me on to that. My cousin Romy said, he's the same guy. Look at his stats. I don't like to give that man too much props, but he's right, And I think Jaylen Brown.
No. They are the same player. I'm not saying one player is better than the other. I'm just saying if I'm the Celtics, I personally wouldn't blow it up yet because you really don't have to. Jaylen Brown's 25. Jason Tatum's 23. They're extremely young players still. And to me personally, I think they can still grow into being a legit 1A and 1B. And where they figure out who's going to be the closer, where they figure out who's going to have the ball most of the game and get their buckets that way and carry the team, and then maybe figure out who has the ball in the fourth quarter. I think part of that comes down to coaching, too. I don't think Brad Stevens was as great as a coach as the NBA tried to make us believe. And now that we've seen that necessarily didn't work, and now he's in the front office, and now they have a brand new head coach. So I think there's a lot of things going on in Boston that could get better for this team, and I think it comes down to if I was Brad Stevens, I'm continuing to build around those two because I really think they could work with a point guard who could run their offense better. I don't think they have someone who can run their offense.
If I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm out of there. This is not work.
Really?
It's time to get out. Heck yeah. For what purpose? Go to another team. He can, Now you brought up a topic of the CJ, and I don't want to take too much of your time on the CJ and Dame thing. Probably people don't want to play in Portland. It's just like your man got lucky in Milwaukee, right? He got just the right players, just the right time to get that chip. Don't nobody want to play out there. You know what I mean? So if I'm Jalen
True.
Brown, I look at my options. Well, I don't know who has the lesser of the contract, but I would look at my options, man. You know, Tatum gets the rock. He gonna always get the rock. So I might go to I don't know if you want to go to a New York Knicks or if you want a team, with a Dame or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard. Everybody's trying to make their relevance of a big three, or even go down to Philly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the reason why Chicago works the way that it does, and I didn't think it would, is Zach is really taking a good back seat, and they got a lot of good role players.
Yeah.
Lonzo, you talked about everybody. You ain't talk about Lonzo. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Lonzo's playing defense, and in the nights that he got to give you a little bit, I might have missed it, so I'm sorry.
no, no, no,
And the
no.
nights he
Yeah,
got to
and
give
that's
you a
why I
little
think
bit,
they're so good because they have Lonzo. They have that point guard who can
right.
run their offense and play
But
great
then
defense.
you got Caruso coming off the bench.
Yep.
You got Kobe White.
Yeah.
They got a team, which
A
for
better
years
constructed team. I agree.
Chicago never had a team. And you got to have a bunch of players. Like Chicago really got Lonzo for a steal the way he progressed up,
Yeah.
and that was because the Pelicans didn't want to pay no money. So
Yeah.
you got to go into a situation like that where players want to play, and where they get that opportunity, and the coach is making it clear. I mean, look at DeRozan going against Bron the other night. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a complete different guy than in Toronto. You would have never seen DeRozan doing that kind of stuff.
No.
Versus in Toronto. So, but yeah, man, I think it's time to blow them up, man. That's all I want to give my 2 cents there,
I feel
buddy.
that. Okay.
Good talking to you.
Good talking. Thank you for
All
calling
right.
in. For blowing up Boston. Jason made some really good points. But like I said earlier, talking to him, I'm going to have to disagree. I think Boston can figure it out. I just hope they got to build a better team. Like he said on the call, the Bulls have a better team. The Bulls have actual players on their team that contribute to winning basketball. I don't think Boston has that. I don't know what moves they got to make to make that happen. It might mean you got to blow that team up. I don't know. But I think they could work together, personally.